Welcome everyone to the weekly rundown. We are so excited that you're here. I'm Fran with Sue Bell, Network Empire's CEO extraordinaire, and we're here to talk to you about what's been going on with Network Empire, digital marketing news, and all kinds of general marketing information that you need to know about. Hey Sue, thanks for being here.
Thanks so much for having me, Fran. This has been an incredible week. We've had some really fun things going on, and we've got some good things to run down. So I'm in my 18-wheeler, and oh wait, no, different kind of rundown. All right.
Always come back to the domination.
And the software update side of the world this week, we had a glitch with keywords. We had an API with Majestic, which got changed without notice. I love it when they just randomly make updates and then expect everybody to just intuitively understand. Anyway, fixed all of the deep drills. If you saw that your deep drills were hung for a while, they should all be fixed and finished and lovely and data filled by now. New trainings. We've got two different training webinars running at the moment. We had Kraken Meet the Beast, which we did last week. You can catch the replay in the Kraken training area in the university. And this week we just completed the Killer Keyword Mastery webinar, which I think went rather well. And so these two, last week's Kraken and this week's Killer Keywords, have all been part of the flow of the niche domination training that we've been doing. So we just kind of incorporated those thoughts into showing you how to use the tools, and that's been rather fun. If you're not part, if you're interested in these keywords and you're not part of the Skype groups for either one of those, I suggest that you get in there, because there's a whole other layer of conversation that's going on in the Skype room about how to use the keywords and or how to use the tools and how to understand the data that it's giving you back. And even so, I'm taking the guts of that information and fleshing the training area out. It's just, I think you'll get more out of it if you're part of the ongoing conversation. And then the other training,
Yeah,
go ahead.
I was just going to say that we'll have this slideshow with the replay of this rundown, and then you can register for the next Kraken Meet the Beast webinar if you're not already, and the next Killer Keyword Mastery, and then also we'll have the Skype links for you guys.
Exactly. We run those trainings about once every 2 weeks. And then a week from Wednesday, we've got email domination, which will be kicking off. An email course that we have a survey out at the moment to make sure that we understand what you guys want, to make sure that we're going to cover all the appropriate topics and kind of do the last little bit of morphing on the course curriculum. So get in there and give us some feedback. The link will also be underneath this replay. I appreciate everybody who has already given us feedback. We've already got a lot of feedback, but I want to make sure that we get everybody's voice who's interested in participating. Even if you think you're not going to take the course right now, it's going to be a pre-recorded course that you can take at any point. So make sure you get your voice in and tell us what it is that you're looking for. Now we're on to news, industry news. Shocking piece of thing came across our desk this week stating that the millennials now make up over 25% of the world's population. I could make a lot of remarks about this. Being a baby boomer, I could make a lot of remarks about this. But anyway, bottom line, this means that millennials are going to be the trendsetters, and they, even if you're not seeing that trend at the moment, as they get a little bit older, they will definitely be the trendsetters. And so, what's the takeaway with millennials being the majority of the market, or the single largest segment of the market up and coming, Fran?
My thoughts for us is that they're going to be influencing business, which is why I highlighted that section of the article. we've got an opportunity now to be talking to our clients, for those of us who have agencies or sell local marketing, and talk to them about who their target market is and their audience. And if they are in that space, then they need to be looking at their website design. And they need to be mobile friendly. They need to be looking at possibly developing mobile apps. They need to be advertising on mobile apps. So I think the opportunity is just to be a little bit more experienced and talk about it from a perspective of authority when you're going out there in the marketplace, and just knowing that it's going to affect your end users.
Right. Yeah, so that in line with some of the conversations in the Skype rooms this week, that means AMP becomes more important because that's how you're going to be ranked. I mean, AMP is just more important for ranking, period, but in particularly for getting on mobile apps or mobile phone searches and having your pages look good when people hit them. You know, I was doing a page, I was crafting one of our pages, recrafting it a little bit, and I did something. I changed something that had scaled nicely before, but it was a real pain to try to modify. So I threw it out and I put in something else. It was like a pricing grid or something like that. And the pricing grid didn't collapse onto mobile as well as the other version had. In fact, it really looked pretty horrible. And I sat there for a moment and I deliberated, and I'm like, man, I just hope that most of our most of the people hitting our website are hitting it on at least a tablet or larger, because otherwise it's going to look really pathetic. But that is like a whole trend that I'm not going to be able to get away with too much longer. That I know the percentage of people that look at our sales page are increasingly headed more toward the mobile market, and it's something really to consider and to be aware of.
Right, for not only for the AMP like you talked about, but for location-based searches. For, you know, we had this whole discussion about near me, but the reality of finding what's around you and geo-targeting. So it's just something to be top of mind, and know you might want to start working on it now for your own sites and for your clients.
Exactly. So, well, we're talking about things that we've talked about a little bit in the past. Last week we talked about Facebook and what Facebook was doing in terms of where they were headed with their cutting edge research. And we found this week that Facebook is not the only people headed that direction. Expedia is also testing, understanding how the brain is working and following eye movements and these kinds of things, and developing interfaces that are along the lines of mind reading. So it's interesting to me just to have a couple of articles from a couple of different places come across the desk in such short order, saying that, you know, this is a trend at this point. When more than one person is doing it in a very short period of time, that officially qualifies as a trend in my book. And so I think it's something to be aware of and fun to kind of like, well, you know, you and I talked about in the meantime some rather esoteric concepts, and I think as we move forward we might actually dig into some of those ideas a little bit further. So along those lines of bleeding edge, let's talk about what's happening with consumers currently visiting your web page. So the latest, I'm trying to think of where this actually came from, and I don't see it right at the moment, but the latest statistic that we have is 92% of online customers don't intend to buy during a first visit. And I have to say that that bears out in my experience. When I can't find something on Amazon, but Amazon offers me maybe a third-party site where the product I want is, or if I go and do a Google search and I find a third-party site, I tend to bookmark it. I tend to come back. I don't tend to just purchase the first time I hit that website because the trust isn't there yet. And so I do a little bit of checking on the company first, and walk away and come back, where with Amazon it might be more of an impulse purchase. If it's someplace that I don't know and I don't know whether or not my credit card information is going to be saved there, or is it going to, like, is somebody going to hack and grab my credit card and then, blah, 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 and just the pain of having to get my credit card reissued, or are they actually going to send me my stuff, and is it going to, Fran just shot me that it was from econsultancy.com blog. So there's all these things that kind of run through my head just because the trust isn't there, just because I haven't ever heard of these people. And even if Amazon links to them, it doesn't mean that Amazon actually endorses them, right? They're just paying Amazon for the ad space. So, and worse, even worse, is if there's nothing even recommended by Amazon and I have to go off and find some third-party place. Now, it may well be, and, a lot of the times when I order from someplace else, it's fine. It's just that moment of I take longer to look at it. I might shop 3 or 4 different places and then see which website feels better to me, like which one just seems like it's maybe a little bit more secure with their credit card information, maybe a little bit more on the ball with being able to ship stuff out, that kind of thing. So when they say 92% of online consumers don't intend to buy during a first visit, what this means to me is that you need to do something to get them into a funnel. You either offer them, you either do a pop-up where you offer to get on the list or give them a coupon. List is definitely like the best way, because if I get on your list, if I'm interested and I get on your list and maybe you give me like a coupon for signing up onto the list and you send me some decent emails and everything, like you have that opportunity to build trust better. So those are the kinds of things that I would think of. Now, the other thing that you can do that's really cool is you can retarget. And I get this a lot, particularly from some of the bigger places, unfortunately, like Overstock and eBay. Like, they're constantly retargeting. Heaven forbid I actually put something in my shopping cart and walk away. I'm going to see that item that's in my shopping cart a dozen times over the next 3 days, maybe even 2 dozen times over the next 3 days. But it's beautiful because it does put it back in front of me. I do remember, oh yeah, that was there. I was looking at it, and if I want it, I tend to go back and pick it up. So retargeting and abandoned cart ads, what's that?
As you say, that's an e-commerce owner's favorite app, the cart abandonment app.
Right? Yeah, I don't know what the stats are right off the top of my head, but I know it seriously improves conversion.
Yeah, it's, anywhere from 14 to upwards of 50%.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
Depending on your.
So, kind of sort of in line with that is that email is rated as the best performing marketing channel. So, just trying to look and grab the stats out of here really quickly. 41% of marketers rated as the best performing channel. I would definitely say it's the best performing channel. Out of all of the channels we have, hands down, like a bazillion times better than any other single channel we have. 98% email delivery rate. I don't believe that figure, personally. I don't know how they're doing that stat, but I don't believe it. Yeah, no. There's just too many spammers out there. Unless you like took away all of the spam, then if you had, even then, I don't think most people have a 98% delivery rate. So anyway, I
was just going to add that, of course, because you've got some kind of a relationship with your email list, it's going to be the best performing marketing channel. That's the whole point. So it's kind of a non-issue, right? I mean, it's obvious, but um, these statisticians have to put up reports for everything. So.
Yeah, right? So the interesting thing about email, and this is some of the things that we kind of hinted at in the survey and stuff that we're going to get into in the course, is, how do you get more opens? How do you get more clicks? How do you get more engagement? How do you build better trust with your list? How do you take that list and get the absolute most out of it? And some things I've found have gotten decent, they've been blogged about a lot. There's been decent conversations around like headlines and things like that. But when it comes to actually building trust and when it comes to actually creating content that engages people and gets them to click, I think that those are some of the most under-talked about aspects of email marketing. I think there's way too much emphasis that's put on just the statistics without the emphasis put on actually the segmentation and engagement. And so segmentation, like the whole point, there's a dozen different ways that you can segment your audience, but if you start segmenting it in terms of like, these are the people that open your email all the time and these are the people that don't open your email like ever, and you put the people who never open your email into a different group and you approach them differently, and don't be afraid to let those people drop off of your list, you can have a much more effective email campaign. So we're going to get into all of that kind of stuff in the course. Fun, fun, fun stuff. So webinar replays. Just look at my notes here for a second. We had an uncensored niche domination series, obviously. Whoa, that was interesting. We had one on keywords this week. Just today we had an MDM4. I think that was yesterday with the advanced proposals. We had an AT4, which we talked about paid traffic and Facebook custom layer audiences. We had
yeah, that was the one today.
That was the one today. Yep. And for upcoming webinars for next week, we've got the Tuesday Uncensored, which is going to be niche domination, where we're going to pull keywords into Network Empire Builder and start building out the structure of the website. AT4 is going to be on Thursday. We're going to talk about Google Maps, measuring lead value, and another email system. We've still got 2 or 3 more webinars on AT4. It's been a great course. And then coming soon is going to be the email marketing course. It's going to start in a couple of weeks. And the opportunity for you to lend your voice to the survey. And last but not least, still on special this week, the Kraken pre-launch to world domination. So if you haven't jumped into Kraken, you should check out our training and see if that isn't a tool that would be right for you. All right, I think that's everything we got. Excellent. All right.
Thanks. Really appreciate everybody showing up for these and watching the replays, and hope you enjoy them and are getting a lot out of them. And thanks, Sue, for bringing all the information together from the week and keeping us informed.
Yeah, thank you. This is always fun. We'll see you guys on the inside.